Does the process of selecting all the moves and all the spots for your next match cause you a little bit of stress? I still find this process stressful myself. And because there's no one precise way that you must go about calling your match, I want to share with you today 5 hacks so that you can make sure the booker is satisfied with the match, the paying customers are satisfied with the match, and these hacks, they are so simple, you'll be able to start using them immediately. And I want to start this whole thing off with a pro tip for you. So before you sit down with your opponent to start calling the match, you're going to find the entire lineup and read it. So wherever they post it in the locker room or where they like to hide it over at gorilla position, you're going to seek it out and you're going to read what every match on the card has been booked to do. Because if half the matches have dirty finishes, the ref is missing something, there's a foreign object being used, this is all critical context you want to know before your process even begins. Because if you sit down with your opponent and you invest a bunch of your time and a bunch of your creativity into putting together a match that you're happy with, but only later discover you're duplicating what half of the card is already doing, that's going to be a very frustrating day at the office. Spare yourself from that frustration. I didn't even do my intro bit. Hello, this is Mike Quackenbush. This is Till We Make It. Welcome aboard. Leave me a like-a-palooza. All right, let's go. We got a lot to talk about. Here's my first hack for you. Before you pick out any moves or spots, but after you have read the lineup, I want you to frame the story of the match as a starting point. And this speaks directly to in-ring value. Your in-ring value might be something like strength, size, speed, technical wrestling ability, high-flying acrobatics. And once you have figured out what each of you is going to be contributing, frame the match. Is this a match of strength versus speed? Is this a match that pits immense size against high-flying acrobatics? Use this framing of the match as your starting point for selecting and eliminating what spots you're going to use in the performance and what spots don't make sense in the performance. My second hack for you is one I bet you've heard before. I want you to start with the finish you've been given by the booker and then reverse engineer everything in support of that finish while considering the work we just did back in hack number 1. You framed the story of the match. So as you go about picking out what spots and moves you're going to be performing, consider what you just framed. Is this the match that pits a wrestler of great size against a wrestler possessed of raw power? Then tell the match of size versus power while building to that arm submission hold. So far this month, I've already published Patreon exclusive videos breaking down a $72,000 exclusive wrestling contract, talking about prioritizing working cameras over working fans and the difference between sports entertainment and pro wrestling. I published a video about how to get the most from an audience when you're performing in the same building, in the same town, month in and month out. And just this past Monday, I published a video about some often overlooked bookings which are in reality some of the most lucrative in all of wrestling. And that's basically the tip of the exclusive video iceberg, because there's more than 200 of them waiting for you to unlock over on my Patreon. You'll find a link down below to where you can get access to all of these videos, join our Discord, become a member of our community, and support the work of Till We Make It. It's down below in the descriptus. Up next, we're going to make sure that the cutoff, which brings all the momentum of Act 1 to a screeching halt, connects directly to the story of your match. And I want to give you 2 examples to illustrate what I mean by that. Example number 1. Let's say the booking of your match calls for the heel's ringside manager to cause the finish of the bout. Well, if so, then get that ringside manager involved in the cutoff. introduce that story element as Act 1 is transitioning into Act 2. Because we know the interference of that ringside manager is integral to the finish, be judicious about when you introduce it, and there's no better place to position it in your story structure than at the cutoff. Or here's a second example. Let's say the booking of the match calls for the babyface to win with a small package. Well, if that's the case, why not have the heel cut off the babyface using a vertical suplex or brainbuster, something which can be easily countered into the small package? That way, when the heel calls this move back later on in the match, we can see that the babyface won't be fooled by the same trick twice, and it's a perfect setup for the small package that the booker has prescribed. This makes you into a very tidy storyteller. My next hack for you is character-centric. I want you to get in the habit of calling your character moments during the match with the same level of detail as your high spots. So if you would call a high spot like, I'm bouncing off the ropes, you bend over for a back body drop, but I grab you around the waist and counter it up into a power bomb, but at the peak, you give me a handful of punches and then you're able to counter my power bomb into a Hurricane Rana. Well, bring that same exact level of detail to your character moments in the match. Don't gloss over them. Don't fail to verbalize them. Those character moments are every bit as important as the moves you're going to be doing, so don't neglect them and don't fail to call them out loud. I think this one's a real veteran hack. After you've had a chance to put the match together from the finish back to the start, maybe you run through it once in your own head, maybe you call it out loud once with your opponent, then I want the two of you to mutually agree upon which spot you will edit out if you're running tight on time. You know that panicky feeling you get when the referee tells you you've only got 2 minutes left to wrap up your match, but you know you've got more than 2 minutes of material? This is going to help alleviate that stress in the ring. If you know in advance which spot you're editing out and how to cut around it and keep on moving, this is going to make you look like a real polished pro. So which of my hacks do you think you'll end up using first? Will you tell me down below in the comments? If diving even deeper into structure and psychology of wrestling is on your to-do list, you're going to love my book, 7 Keys to Becoming a Better Performer, a book I wrote for fellow pro wrestlers, which is available on Amazon.com, and the audiobook is over on Audible.com. It's waiting for you right now.